going on, y'all? It's your man Pristine back with another video. So this is the front-facing selfie camera on the LG Stylo 4. Now we've got a 5 megapixel sensor here. I know that some people have been kind of, you know, up in arms or in their feelings about the fact that it's a 5 megapixel sensor on a device in 2018 like the Stylo line. I mean, it's not like it's a new line, and if it was a new line, you would expect for it to come out with all the latest, you know, budget or mid-range specifications. But this is a device that has, you know, it's been out for a while now, or just the particular line, the Stylo line, you know. And so now we're on the 4th series, the 4th edition, and it seems like the last couple of Stylos had a 5 megapixel sensor on the front. I mean, so there's not really that big of an upgrade there. It does look good as far as the actual quality and so forth, but it's like we couldn't get an 8 megapixel LG. You know what I mean? Kind of like how you just upgraded the G7 with 8 megapixel front-facing sensor, as opposed to the 5 that you've been going with for the last couple years. Things that make us go, But either way, this is what it is on the LG Stylo 4. And I understand, you know, this is being marketed as a, some people have said it's, you know, a mid-range or a budget slash mid-range device. Me, I'm just calling it a budget device because of the price, because of the specs. I mean, you know, you've got a Snapdragon 450 processor, 2 gigs of RAM, you know. I mean, so, you know, with that said, I mean, to keep costs down, I mean, should it be that big of a surprise that there's only a 5 megapixel sensor here on the front? Me, you know, I mean, I wish that LG would market this device to be more of a mid-range, going towards a flagship device to compete more so with the Note series, considering the fact that this does have a stylus, and the Note and the Stylo are the only devices on planet Earth that I know of that come with the stylus, you know what I mean? And so I understand LG, they want this phone to be cost effective and all that kind of thing. But hey, you know, they market it how they want to, right? So 5 megapixels here. Now we do have the option to go wide angle, which I just did right there. So you see that this is the primary view, and then we do have the wide angle view, which you are able to get a little bit more subjects into the shot. And you also have this ability with taking photos as well with the selfie camera as well. So you can take those wide angle selfie shots. You know, I've got the phone in my hand vertically, but you can turn it to landscape view to get a little bit of a wider shot, depending on what you're trying to capture. So and then we do have some features. There is no optical image stabilization on this particular camera. We do have Q lens, and so if you're doing like some shopping and you want to check like prices and stuff like that, you can utilize Q lens on this particular camera system. Around the back, we've got a 13 megapixel primary sensor, which is really good actually. It was better than I thought it was gonna be. And so here, let me step out of vehicle here. Let me put it back in the primary view and just kind of check out the camera while you're out in the elements and just see how it adjusts. Now, here in Seattle, Washington, it's a gray, gloomy day, and I'm happy about it. It feels good because lately it's been around between 90 and 98, close to 100 with that humidity. And I don't like all that damn heat, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm more of a like 75, 80 degree weather kind of guy. Anything over that, it just gets uncomfortable. I don't like perspiring and feeling like I'm all sweaty and all that. I just stay in the house until it cools down, then I come on out. You see what I'm saying? So this is perfect. I mean, it's gray, gloomy. I love it when it's like this. No rain, nice little breeze. It's about 70 degrees out here. Feels real good. Feels real good. Now you can see there is no optical image stabilization, as I mentioned when I was just back in the Pristine Mobile. I mean, so if you're taking video footage, you know, whether it be with the front-facing camera or the rear camera, you are gonna have to have a steady hand. Okay, and again, you know, with these budget devices, you can't expect all the bells and whistles. Why? Because they got to keep the cost down. So, you know, if you up the processor, up the RAM, up the memory, up the cameras, you know, the more features and functions you got, then you got to pay for that, man. You got to pay to play. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are left to be desired on this particular device. But yet, what it is rocking with, it's not really that bad, okay? It's not that bad. I mean, do I wish the phone had more RAM? Yeah. Do I wish it had an 8 megapixel sensor here rather than a 5? Yes. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's not bad at all. I mean, colors are true to life. The color reproduction looks nice and clear. I don't seem to be overexposed. I mean, you know, my overall the picture quality is nice and sharp as it ought to be. As you can see back in the background, the details with the bushes and the leaves on the trees and everything. You know, and then again, we'll go ahead and switch to that wide angle. So, you know, this is a nice feature as well. And like I said, I mean, LG and these wide angle sensors, I mean, if you want wide angle done right, then you need to have an LG device in your pocket. Preferably that G7 Thin Q, because I think the LG G7 Thin Q right now is the best flagship that money can buy on planet Earth. And stay tuned, because I got a video coming out about that. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera around. All right, and we're gonna take a look at how this 13 megapixel primary lens is looking, and keep it locked here at Pristine Mobile Tech. All right, y'all, this your man Pristine back again. So here is the 13 megapixel rear-facing primary camera on the LG Stylo 4. Now, we do not have a dual camera system here, you know, which is, you know, it is what it is, I guess, you know, I mean, but at least with the Stylo line, you know, we got the new aspect ratio and everything, but they opted not to go with dual cameras, and so we just got a single 13 megapixel rear-facing camera here. And I gotta say, it's really good. You know, the picture quality is nice and sharp as it ought to be. Color reproduction is pretty accurate. The camera, I think, in my opinion, has a really good job with adjusting to light and dark conditions. There doesn't seem to be much overexposure, oversaturating things. Taking a lot of clean photos with this particular camera, and the quality was right on point. I mean, there wasn't a lot of noise or anything like that. We do have a portrait mode that we can take some really good portrait shots with that, and I'll display those in a video as well if you haven't already seen them. But if you take a look around, just, you know, just at the big toy and just the way the colors look, the blues and the green on the playground here. Take a look down at the bark, the little teeter-totter right there. Pardon the noise, because we are close to the highway here, so there's a bunch of cars going back and forth, north and south here. Now, as I mentioned when I was talking about the front-facing 5 megapixel camera, we do not have optical image stabilization. So considering the fact that I am moving, I've got this phone cuffed with both hands, because if I don't do that, then this video is going to be extremely shaky. And so it would have been nice to have had optical image or electronic image stabilization just to help with stabilization to some capacity. But nonetheless, you know, again, this is marketed as a budget device, and so you can't expect for all those types of bells and whistles to be instilled on a device like this, although it would have been nice. So I'm just going to step down here and just kind of walk around the way that I normally would here. And you guys can just take a look down there at the basketball court, or just even the grass down there, just the detail. If we take a look here at a lot of the grass, I mean, everything seems to be really sharp and crisp, as it should be. Take a look at the bark here, and little wind blowing, just this little wrapper just seemed to be moving around just by the gust of wind that is going by. And everything just looks really good here as far as the overall camera quality is concerned. Now, we don't have the wide angle feature on the rear-facing camera. That is only on the front-facing camera here on the Stylo 4. That kind of sucks. I mean, I wish that that was also on the rear camera as well, so that we can switch, you know, between that wide-angle lens versus the primary. So, you know, for that feature on the rear cameras, I mean, you're going to have to go with some of the more premium iterations of LG devices like the G7 Thin Q, or, you know, the V35 Thin Q, the LG V30, all that kind of thing. Even the G6, you know, they have all that kind of stuff. My recommendation would be the LG G7 Thin Q. You know, if you can pony up the funds to get it, excellent device. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the rear primary 13 megapixel sensor on the LG Stylo 4. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comments, and I'll be sure to get back with you guys as soon as I can. All right, I'm out. Peace.